Alrighty, the matchup that we've been waiting for is finally here. We have the Warriors, we have the Rockets, we have the Western Conference Finals. First team of four makes it to the NBA Finals. We've been waiting for this since literally the first day of the season when they played each other on ring night when the Rockets got away with a 1 point victory. So, how did this regular season turn out? Well, the Rockets beat them twice. They beat them, of course, the first game of the season. They also beat them at home one time, and the Warriors got one on the road. So it's going to be a compelling series. I think that the Rockets could take them in seven. I feel like PJ Tucker is going to be the MVP of the Western Conference Finals. I'm hoping, personally, 'cause honestly, I do feel like the main thing that the Rockets has been doing, and they made no secret about it, is that they've been building the team to compete with the Warriors. Daryl Morey has not been shy about saying, "Hey, man, I'm gonna assist with the Warriors. I want to beat the Warriors at their own game." So he built a team that he feel like is comparable to the Warriors. He built a team that he feel like that can take them down. And I applaud Daryl Morey for doing that. I applaud for doing it because, hey, man, you can say that, okay, we're just gonna wait until the Warriors just break up the core, then we're gonna start make our run. But when the hell that's gonna be? From what it sounds like, the Warriors is going to take pay cut after pay cut to keep the core together. And that core meaning Curry, Thompson, Green, and Kevin Durant. What? How long do you think that's going to last? Next 5, next 10 years? Come on, man. I mean, I understand you got James Harden locked up, but that's not a smart idea that the Rockets should wait. So the Rockets said, no, we're not going to wait. We're going to make moves to put us in a chance to win today. And so that's what they did. They got Chris Paul, they got PJ Tucker, they got Luke Mbamute. They got who they feel like they need to compete with the Warriors. So we're here. We're finally here. We've been talking about this all season long. The Rockets know the Warriors are not scripted. The Warriors know the Rockets not going to roll over and die. So we're going to see. We're going to see how this all shakes out. I mean, it's going to be a compelling series. It's going to be a compelling series. Rockets did, of course, get the number one seed in the tiebreaker, so they're going to be the home court advantage. Anyways, so we like I said, this is pretty much the NBA Finals in my opinion. Whoever wins this series is going to win the NBA Finals. So like I said, we're going to see. I feel like it's going to go seven. I feel like the Rockets can pull it off. I feel like it because it's like the game wasn't long. The game was back in January, so it's been a while since the Rockets and the Warriors was even the same state. So I do believe that the main thing was PJ Tucker was on Curry like white on rice. I think that was like the main thing takeaway from that game. And now like but the biggest thing though for the Rockets, the biggest thing is going to be, can Mike D'Antoni make the necessary adjustments? Can he make the adjustments needed to compete with the Warriors? Because that is the one thing that Mike D'Antoni has failed to do. He's great in the regular season, but when he poops it in the postseason, it's because he do not make the necessary adjustments. He's too stubborn. So can he make the adjustments? Personally, I would like to see less ball handling from James Harden, putting Chris Paul hands. Chris Paul is the most efficient point guard on the team. Obviously, he's a point guard. Let him be that point guard. Like James Harden, catch and shoot. We got to make sure that you make the ball move around because James Harden doing his isolation for 23 seconds is not going to work this round. Now, I know that's not all about James Harden's game, but I'm just saying. So, we're here. We're here. We passed the second round. Chris Paul is in his first ever conference finals, which is insane to think about. It's really insane to think about. I mean, of course, part of it because the Rockets came back from 3-1 a couple years ago, but still, you can get my point. It's insane to think about how Chris Paul has ever been in the conference finals until now. So we're gonna see how this we're gonna see how this checks out. We're going to see. And of course, the Warriors have made no secret that the Rockets scares them. You got Steve Kerr tweeting about James Harden, travel or no travel. You got radio hosts in Golden State worried about the Rockets, trying to rip on Daryl Morey because he celebrated that the Rockets had got the 1 seed around the All Star break. You have, I mean, even Kevin Durant, trying to throw shade at Clint Capella, talking about, well, I mean, all he does is catch lobs, as if that's not hard in itself. But again, this is the matchup that we've been waiting for. This is the matchup that everybody assumed was going to happen. So we're going to see. We're going to see. We are going to see. I personally cannot wait. I cannot wait. So yeah, man. Yeah, it's gonna be good, man. It's going to be a good show. It's going to be a good, entertaining finals, conference finals, I should say. So we're going to see. We're going to see. I can't wait. I can't wait. I cannot wait. I wait. Also, on another note, this is going up to the Eastern Conference. The Cavaliers obviously swept the Toronto Raptors, and I want to say this real quick. Like, last time I talked about is it time to fire Dwayne Casey, and I think that might be the right move to make for the Raptors. And I mean, and I say that because what else are you going to do at this point? You can't really trade Kyle Lowry. He's set to make like $31 million next season. You can't trade DeMar DeRozan. I mean, you keep it there for a couple years. He had a player option he can opt out of, but outside of that, how do you really improve the team? And everybody, got mad at me. Like, how you gonna fire the coach that probably is gonna be coach of the year? They got the Raptors to the 1 seed. They got to the most regular season wins in franchise history. How you gonna fire the coach then? Well, I mean, the goal is championships. That's how. If I'm ownership, the goal is championship. I don't care that you play LeBron. Hell, if you play LeBron James 3 years in a row, you should know how to beat him by now. I get it. He's LeBron James, and it's tough to beat him. I get that. Obviously, he's tough to beat him, but still, nothing changes the fact that you still fail to reach the championship. Nothing changes that. Like that's just my whole thing about it. Nothing changes that alone. The Rockets, I mean, the Raptors did not win this year. They lost. They got eliminated early this year. They got eliminated in an embarrassing fashion. 4-0 sweep. But how many passes are you going to give Dwayne Casey before you decide to let him go? Because just like I mentioned that, you can wait till you could wait till the Warriors break up. Same thing with LeBron James. You could wait for LeBron James to lead the Eastern Conference or to retire altogether. But how long that's going to take? And by that time, you're not going to have much of a team anyway because Lowry might be gone. DeMar DeRozan might be out of there. So, how many times are we going to give these coaches? Because a lot of coaches get fired in the East because they can't get past LeBron, and that's just how it goes. It's result based. If you're not winning, what are you doing? One thing about owners, man, yeah, they understand that the process. They do understand all of that. But they don't care. They want to win. Because winning does a lot of good for them. Whether it be pride, whether it be financial gain, it does a lot of good for them. But maybe it'd be the coach's best interest to put a product that's going to win. Which is why Daryl Morey said, screw it, we're going to take on the Warriors today. So, hey man, just saying. Just saying. That's why I feel like at some point you just got you like if the Raptors do not fire Dwayne Casey, they better at least think about it, real hard, real hard. So we'll see how that goes. We'll see how that goes. We will see how that goes. Also, another note, I think I mentioned in the last episode, but again, credit in the world to Boston. They should win the series. Teams that go down 0-3 don't win the series. In fact, they're now 0 and 130 thanks to the Raptors. The Boston should win the series. They should. So again, we have a rematch of the previous conference finals in the East, and you have a situation where the games that opened up this season are the conference finals, which is pretty funny. But of course, everybody not the same people, but you get my point. So anyway, so we're gonna see. We're going to see how the conference finals checks itself out. All right, man. So we have this thing in Pittsburgh. We have the situation where the Steelers drafted Mason Rudolph from Oklahoma State in the third round, and we have in that same situation. Mason Rudolph basically said that it's not up to Ben Roethlisberger to teach him the job or teach him the playbook, all that good stuff. So Ben took he took those comments and pretty much decided, well, if I'm not needed, then I'm just gonna point to the playbook and maybe ask some questions. Screw him. And people are pissed off about that. People are upset at Ben Roethlisberger not being open to helping the rookie out. Also in Baltimore, people are upset at the fact that Joe Flacco have yet to contact Lamar Jackson. And I put it like this, man. Here's this why I'm seeing this from the outside. Obviously, from outside, um, Big Ben have considered retiring, so he is done within 2, 3, maybe 4 years at best. He is like 36 years old right now. Also, Joe Flacco this is his last year of guaranteed money, so the Ravens could cut him after this season with little to no damage at all on their cap. So I look at that. I look at the situation, both situation, and I say I have zero problem with their response. Seriously, like I don't have. I'm not in a situation where I'm like disturbed that all of a sudden Big Ben and Joe Flacco wants to keep their jobs because their job has paid them pretty good amounts of money over the past years, right? Like I'm not worried. I'm not over here upset at Big Ben for having a reasonable response. Just like I'm not upset with Joe Flacco for having a reasonable response. I mean, clearly, hell, Peyton Manning wasn't all that joyful when the Broncos got Brock Osweiler. Like Brett Favre famously did not teach Aaron Rodgers. Like, to me, this is to me. I don't know if I'm teaching somebody to take my job, right? Everybody knows the NFL means not for long, which means that on average, if you make it past the third year, you're lucky. You are lucky. So for Ben and Flacco to make it, hell, Peyton Manning thrown in for making it as long as they made it. Of course, Peyton retired since then. I don't blame dudes for wanting to keep their job. For one, what is after football, right? What is life after football? I'm pretty sure maybe a big man can find something to do. I'm pretty sure Joe Flacco will probably find something to do in a short amount of time. But what is there? That's one part. That's one element of it. Another element of it is we want to compare. And this is where I don't like when people compare their regular jobs to the job of a football NFL quarterback because those jobs are way different. These are in different galaxies. Okay, the job of a construction worker and the job of an NFL quarterback are different galaxies. They just are for a reason. It's just hard. You know, like it's it's this weird thing where we try. People talking about. Well, at my job, we train the young ones so that they can produce to the company and from here on forward. Like I get that. True. I get that. But at the same time, your job, your regular job, compared to an NFL athlete, it's probably have a longer shelf life than any professional athlete in any sport. But guess football is the one that's like, okay, you definitely not gonna play forever, right? So your job and what you do definitely have just a longer shelf life. No matter if it's a little bit longer or way longer, it's a longer shelf life. So I don't have a problem with football players realizing, oh shit, the writing's on the wall. I'm out of here in 2 3 years. Regardless if I retire or if they cut me or whatever, I'm out of here. Damn, and they just draft this guy that can replace me. Oh hell no. I'm not gonna speed up this process. I'm gonna make them take my job, right? Like, so you have that element. You also have teams that are looking at a situation where Big Ben consider retirement and they draft a quarterback because they don't know if Big Ben is going to retire this season, next season, during the game. They don't know, which is perfectly reasonable there too. Like, people are upset at Ben because he considered retirement and he was shocked that they drafted a rookie quarterback. Man, Big Ben, honestly, I say it like this. Ben ain't worried about the fact that a rookie quarterback well, they got a rookie quarterback. I don't think he's worried about that. I think he's just in that legacy part of his career where he's just like, dog, I got about a couple good years left at me. Let's go ahead and win championships. Call it selfish as you may. It's very selfish. I agree with that. I have a problem with being selfish because I understand it. I don't have a problem with teams drafting for the future instead of going in all in for winning now because that happens too. I understand that too. So people got mad at me because it's like, well, you condone this behavior. Well, shit, I condone this behavior because it's a reasonable response. It's reasonable because athletes are the most prideful people on the planet. They busted their tail from birth, from wearing diapers, to get to the point to where they make millions of dollars playing a game. And the fact that they excelled in a sport where dudes are not supposed to last as long, yeah, they probably want to enjoy a little bit longer before they have to face the fact that yeah, I gotta retire. Like that's for me is where I am always conf- surprised. I don't know why I'm surprised at this point because it's one thing I noticed. One thing I noticed too is everybody wants athletes to act the way that they want them to act 24/7, right? Like it's everybody wants athletes to, you know, want to be there for the team. They want the athlete to want to stay in a uniform. They want the athlete to want to win. And then they get upset when an athlete have a want to actually stay and don't want to be replaced. It's this weird thing. Now, like I said, call it what you want it. You can call it bitch move. You can call it chicken shit. You can call it pussy. You can call it what you want to call it. Cool. I know for me personally, yeah. If I know the guy I'm training is directly going to take my job, yeah, I'm gonna be a little disturbed too. Regardless of if I have a job lined up after I get replaced, regardless of all of that, I think it's the principle of the matter. It really is the principle of the matter. Is I worked my tail off to get here. All of a sudden, I'm getting replaced. Damn. I brought you guys this success, and now I gotta get replaced. Damn. Now, granted, I know that at least in the NFL, and I know that Ben and Joe Flacco knows that they're gonna be replaced because they're not gonna play it forever. I think I know they know that. I think the part for me where I can understand is them actually accepting that. Because someone brought an excuse me, of Andre Johnson mentoring DeAndre Hopkins before he left, and even Andre Johnson then knew he was at the end of the road, but I think he low key accepted that he was at the end of the road. I think that's what that was with Andre Johnson. He knew that the writing was on the wall. Hopkins was brought in to replace him eventually, and he might as well. He figured, okay, cool. Maybe I just train because try to be a nice guy about it. And that's another thing too. It's a common courtesy to try to help out the young guy coming in. It's a common courtesy. You know, I get it. It looks good. The optics are good. It looks good for the company. It brings a good image to a team, to an NFL that needs all the good image it can get, right? But at the same time, it's a common courtesy. It's not a requirement. Like me personally, my opinion about Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Flacco doesn't change because honestly, I assume they all assholes, and with good reason. Now they want to prove me wrong and say otherwise. So cool, but I do believe that every pro athlete has a little bit of asshole in him because they had to get to where they at. I don't think J.J. Watt got to the NFL by being this quote unquote Captain America kind of dude. I don't know. He has a little bit of asshole in him to get to where he's at. Have you seen the shit talking he'd be trying to do? He thought Ray Rice he's gonna eat him like a burrito. That's a little asshole-ish. You're like, oh, what even like he really like him a breath. I don't know. It was something, but still, you gotta have a little asshole-ish, man. You gotta have a little bit of an asshole in you to keep your job. That's with any sport, man. That was any sport. So I got no problem with Ben Roethlisberger and Joe Flacco not wanting to potentially train their replacements. And I have no problem with teams looking out for themselves in the future because everything within pro sports, anything within life is a business. Like I just went through a managerial communications class, which got A in, and the one, the professor was just like, "What's the purpose of the resume? To get the interview. Why is the resume important? Because you're selling yourself. So yeah, it's a business. You have to treat yourself like a business sometimes, and maybe that's what Ben and Joe are doing. Maybe they train themselves like businesses, which people should be doing, especially when it comes to their brand. And yeah, I honestly, and everybody in Ben's case, everybody brought up the whole rape thing and him throwing the coaches on the fire thing and all that stuff, like in how Ben should be gracious that they kept him. You're right. On a morality standpoint, he should be happy they kept him all these years, even though he had all these issues going on. But at the same time, we're talking about the NFL in morals, right? We're really talking about the NFL in morals at this point when it comes to Ben, right? We are so we are so selective, right? Obviously, the only reason why the Steelers even kept Ben because he's good. He's hard to replace. So this whole she should be grateful because they kept him even though he had all these issues going on. Man, it's not because of that. Because he's good. Then again, this is the same narrative you have to read me when it came to Colin Kaepernick. So, Colin Kaepernick didn't do any morally wrong. So, that's why he stayed with the Steelers because he was hard to replace. Who were you going to replace him with? You tell me that. Exactly. 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 You're not gonna tell me that you're not gonna give me this hindsight 2020 and pick off quarterbacks within the last 4 years that actually became about something that you could replace them with. Nah, man. At the time that discussion was about to replace Ben Roethlisberger, what quarterback do you think was going to replace him? Yeah, that's what I thought. Exactly. So call it what you want, but again, perfectly fine responses from both sides. I have no problem with it, and I think people get mad at me because I'm on the fence about this. Not that I'm on the fence about it. It's just I don't really care to be personally upset about dudes wanting to keep their jobs because I like to. I will feel some type of way if I had to trade my replacement. I'll be honest with you. I'll be honest with you. Well, you should keep the company going forward, and it's just the right thing. Nah, man, nah. It sounds good. It sounds good. It's a great story. It is a great story. Trust me, I understand. It is a great look. It's a great optics, and NFL would love that positive image because, as I mentioned before, they need all the good PR they can get these days. But nah, man, nah, I'm good. Speaking of assholes, apparently people in San Antonio believe that Kawhi Leonard quit on the Spurs this season. As we all know, the Kawhi Leonard ended last season with an ankle injury after Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals and really hasn't been himself since then. He only played like, what, 9 games this season? And there are a lot of things that are going on here. The narrative is Kawhi Leonard quit on the Spurs. Like, the narrative is that Kawhi Leonard sat out on purpose because, of an ankle injury when really it turned out to be a quad injury. Yeah, right. So this whole thing is just weird. I don't think that he quit on the Spurs. I really think that he was, for lack of a better term, being an asshole about it. He was being selfish. It was just probably what he should have done from the beginning. You know, I mean, it's. I understand the whole "we need him" thing. Is the one thing I would like to tell people that people want to say that they know players, they know how players heal. They want to compare their injury as a regular Joe versus the one of a professional athlete. Like one thing we have to understand though is that professional athletes they take on way too much stress on their bodies. Like if we get like an ounce of what they take as far as stress goes, we'd probably tap out after the first game. Or we probably just like, nah, I'm good, bro. You can have it. Like we really try to put ourselves on the same level as the professional athletes when for one we shouldn't because with these pro athletes, man, they've been training for this pretty much their whole entire lives. So their body is different. The way the toll they can take is a little bit different. So, and I remember, reading this on, in the group. I can't remember the exact name of the injury, but it pretty much what happened to Kawhi Leonard is that he did not take the proper rest, and now his quad injury was an ankle injury, not because of a quad injury that really got bad over time. And that's the main thing is over time. So essentially, Kawhi Leonard be putting his body on the line for the Spurs and for the Spurs fans. His livelihood was on the line. So we get upset. Like, so many people main issues now is, the team cleared him, and people think that the team is the end all be all. And I'm shocked that NBA players don't do this more often, but Kawhi when he got him a second opinion, and they say, "Nah, man, you ain't playing today. You ain't playing. You ain't playing." So I don't think it's a matter of him, quote unquote, quitting on the Spurs. If anything, he's trying to get himself prepared. He tried to get himself better because again, just like we talk about the NFL and not for long business, the NBA operate the same way. The second that Kawhi Leonard is not useful to the Spurs, he is out of there. He is gone. It's a business. It is a business. Kawhi Leonard's body is his business, figuratively and literally. But Kawhi Leonard's body is treated such as a business. Cool. You know, if Kawhi Leonard wants to play for them, cool. That's fine. But dog, let him get himself together mentally. Cause that's another part of it too. If he not right together mentally, it doesn't matter if he's actually healthy or not. It doesn't. Like, there's no way to, so it's just one of those things, man. Like, people just don't really recognize you know, what's real. And I understand, man. It's this weird thing in sports, right? It's this weird thing. Again, as I mentioned before, people want athletes to do what they want them to do. I know, I understand that it looks bad because, we figure we think that with Kawhi Leonard you have a chance to get the Warriors, which they really didn't. Warriors was just too much firepower for the Spurs, even with Kawhi Leonard on the floor. So honestly, what does it even matter, right? What does it even matter at this point? The Spurs trying to, and then I'm always weary of, because I'm thinking about the Derrick Rose situation. I'm thinking about the Isaiah Thomas situation. Like, Derrick Rose ruined, damn near, pretty much derailed his career for the same coach he actually playing for now in another team, which is actually kind of funny. But he derailed he damn near derailed his whole career off of the team wanting him to play when he should have been playing. Isaiah Thomas ruined his hip and probably destroyed any chance of getting a max deal ever off of the team wanting him to play, even though he had a bad hip. Like, I'm pretty like the one thing too, man. These NBA players, they see what goes on. They watch what goes on around them. They're not stupid. Players would tell you that they don't watch the news, they don't watch First Take, they don't watch Colin Cowherd. They watch all of it. They watch all of it. It's unavoidable at this point. It's all low. It's everywhere. So I don't believe players when they say that they don't watch anything because it's unavoidable at this point. You're not watching on TV, you're not on Twitter, it's in the newspaper. It's not a newspaper, somebody's going to talk to you about it. Like, it's everywhere. So I have no problem with Kawhi Leonard looking out for himself, because he got to look out for himself. Good, again, he's a business, the Spurs are a business. It's essentially two businesses working together for one common goal. And like I said, if the Spurs are trying to rush, and that's what it felt like. The Spurs are trying to rush him back, and he wasn't going for it, which I applaud because it's hard. I pretty imagine it's hard to be like, now I regret Popovich. No, and somebody was trying to tell me that, also that he was trying. He should have picked up. He didn't even pick up the phone when Greg Pop's wife died. I'm just like, I'm sorry that his Greg Pop's wife died. Rest in peace. But I don't think that he was even obligated to pick up the phone then. We talk about stuff that is good look. We talk about stuff that is good for optics. We talk about stuff that is good for common courtesy. But we don't. We always talk. People want to talk about it as if the players are required to do all of that. I remember people even suggesting that Kawhi should fly down to Texas to play in Game 3 after Greg Pop's wife died. And I'm just like, do you realize that over the course of the season, his teammates threw all the shade at him? All the shade at him? Um, what is that going to look like? You got manager Nobley throwing shade at him. You got Tony Parker throwing all the shade at him. Like, what is that? What did that situation look like if he comes down there right only after Greg Popov's wife died? Fans can be mad then too. So really, Kawhi Leonard can't really win. So he might as well stay away. He might as well stay away at that point. So do I ultimately do I think that he remains in San Antonio? Yeah. After thinking about it, I think he stays in San Antonio. I don't think the Spurs are going to trade him because again, it's just a matter of him getting himself together mentally. Really, at this point. So I had no problem with him trying to get himself together because I mean, come on, man, you gotta look at the reality of it. You know, if this team doctor said no, his team doctor said no. And Kawhi Leonard trusts the team of doctors more than the Spurs. Hey, man, I'm all good with it because that's what should be. That what should happen. Personally, you should trust your own personal team that you pay for because when you talk about how team doctors versus private doctors, team doctors are looking for what's good for the team. If Kawhi Leonard is even a bit ready to play, they'll say, "Hey, man, go play," even though Kawhi Leonard is not back to 100%. If Kawhi Leonard, if we talk about private doctors, they making sure that Kawhi Leonard is good and only Kawhi Leonard. So if you a player, who do you want to who do you trust? Someone that has your best interests at heart, or someone that just wants you out there for the team, doesn't care if what else happens afterwards? Yeah, I know. It's weird. It's a weird dynamic. It's weird. So before we end this episode, I'll make a note. For one, shout out to Prairie View A&M University rugby team. They won the HBCU Rugby Classic. If you guys remembered, I had a few members of the team on the show a while back to talk about the Rugby Classic, and they have won. And guest on the show, Enrique Brown Spence, has won the HBCU Player of the Match. So I'm very proud of the rugby team. I'm proud of my alumni. I'm my alma mater, I should say. I'm very proud of where I think that PB Rugby is going to go from this point on forward. I'm very excited to see what's going to happen. I'm very happy for them, man. I'm really happy. I'm glad that they're doing big things. I'm very happy, man. It's a great thing, man, when you see black people venture into sports that really you don't see a lot of black people be a part of. Like, also, it's a great thing when you see a sport that's like world dominated and come to the U.S. It's very wonderful to see, man. It's very crazy. It's very wonderful to see. So, shout out again to PBAMU Rugby Club. Shout out to Enrique Brown Spence. Shout out to everybody involved, man. Y'all did great, man. I'm looking forward to see y'all do more things in the future. I'm looking forward to it, man. So that's one thing. Also, I want to give a shout out to my wife, man, because she has been, ever since I know my wife, and I met her 3 years ago, just off of an Instagram post that turned to a date, that turned into a second date. Thank you, God, for stepbrothers in their quotes. And, we've been pretty much attached to the hip pretty much for the last three years. So, I'm very excited. She walks across the stage this weekend. She get a degree in accounting, and she has a job waiting for her after that. So I'm very happy that she's accomplishing so much because you get close to her, she'll let you know what happened. But I'm not gonna, of course, I'm not gonna tell all y'all what happened. No. But again, man, she went through so much just to get to where she's at today, and I'm very happy for her. I'm happy. So she's been wonderful, man. She has been wonderful the last 3 years. She's been all while being a boss in the classroom, straight A's, summa cum laude. Like, man, that is wonderful, man. It's a wonderful thing, man. I'm very happy for her. I can't wait for it. I can't wait. She earned every bit of that degree that she is going to get. Every bit of the degree that comes in the mail, she earned it, man. She absolutely earned it. So, man, 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 man. So also I also want to thank my wife for giving me the support, man, to do this podcast because you know it's one thing to tell her, okay, fine, go do what you want, but no, she actually support me. She actually telling me that I need to do this better, I need to do that better, I need to be more focused on this, and she let me know, man. She let me know what I need to do, not just all being as far as aspect of life, but especially with this podcast, man. So she's been behind me on that really really hands on much as she can because of course she had class to deal with, so I'm very happy, man. I'm very proud of her, and she earned her trip that she's going to have in a couple, next week. She's going on a trip next week, and she earned every bit of that trip too, because she busted her ass for it. And I'm staying home because I gotta make the sacrifice to go to work. Although also I didn't wasn't part of the class that granted her the opportunity to go on the trip, so I'm not tripping about that personally. I'm not tripping about that. She earned that trip. No one can tell her otherwise. So I'm going to enjoy the next few days I have with her, and I'll be back on May 15th. I'll be back May 15th. And planning on having more guests than usual. I'm trying to make the thing grow, man. So I'm really working. I'm looking forward to it, man. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to it. So again, again, my wife's been behind me from day one of this podcast, and I've been behind her ever since I met her in school. So it's a beautiful thing, man. It's a great thing, and thank you guys for being behind me on this podcast lately, especially of late, man. I appreciate you guys. I really do, man. I really do. So May 15th, I will be back. I will be back. And by that time the conference finals should have been started. So we're gonna get into the conference finals amongst other things that are going on in the sports world the next few days. Cause you know how sports work. Everything happens. A lot of stuff happens in even one day. So again, thank you guys for listening, and as always, I will talk to you guys a little bit later. All right, man. I'll see y'all. You have a good one.